Are you interested in real estate investing but not quite sure where to get started? Do you want to get the know-hows on creating ongoing passive income using the buy and hold strategy? Hi, I'm Janice Bowles, licensed realtor and co-founder of B Premier Ventures, a real estate development and consulting firm where we buy and beautify distressed real estate, renovate it, and resell for profit. With over 15 years of investing experience, B Premier has extensive knowledge in rural land development, fix and flips, and rental acquisitions. B Premier's current portfolio consists of properties within Florida and Virginia. Our firm's services includes investor project consulting, project management, and group coaching. For more information, visit our website at bpremierventures.com and schedule a complimentary discovery session or subscribe to our email list. It's free. Follow me on Instagram at Janice Bowles for additional real estate investing tips. B Premier Ventures, we buy and beautify.
Hey everybody, welcome to today's episode of Let's Do It Talk Show. It's your girl, Ladrine Howard Peterson, the CEO and founder of Do It, delivering on ideas and thoughts. And you know what I do in a nutshell, right? I help to turn dreamers into doers. And I do it from two aspects. I do it from the aspect of career development, resume writing, interview preparation. You have an issue on your job or you're looking to change jobs. I am your girl. I also do it from the business avenue. If you are looking to expand your business, you're looking to start a business, you have ideas and thoughts and you want to turn them into a business, I am your girl. Here at the Let's Do It Talk Show, we were primarily developed and created for entrepreneurs, right? However, we know and we understand that entrepreneurs are a whole person. So we talk about faith, we talk about finances, we talk about the future, career and business, and we talk about family and relationships. Today is the second Monday, so y'all know what that is, right? It's a money making Monday. So we talk all about money, all about finances, and I have my financial gurus that are sitting here along with me. But you know what I do? Give an overview. So what we're talking about today are the 3E'S to prep for an effective financial transition. We're going to talk about establishing holiday spending plans before the holiday and after. So pre and post, we're going to talk about estate planning tips. I just so happen to have some advice on that from my experiences. And then we're going to talk about economical 2021 projections, how to get yourself situated and prepared. But you know what I do before we go into the topics, right? I talk all about my week and my weekend. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So finally got back into the kitchen with some cooking. So we had my COVID cooking chronicles. And with that, oh my goodness. So I had a ball with the cooking. So I cooked a pot roast. So, you know, my slow cooker and my crock pot, I utilized that, cut up and chopped up everything. I haven't posted my results, but here you will see them. You get first dibs on that. But then also, I cooked a salmon. I cooked a salmon with butter. It was like a lemon herb buttered salmon. And of course, my rice, and my specialty is kale and spinach. So both of those, very, very delicious. And then also I had the opportunity to have a lot of fun at my church with the Glow Christmas Mission Outreach. And the ladies, we're getting together and going to follow up so that we can sponsor a family. But that was fun. And we also participated in a Barber Home Group bike drive of donating a bike. So we're doing it. We don't only talk about numbers, we also participate in it. And then other than that, the last picture was of the beautiful sunset. So I go and visit my mom's site every day, and I do it specifically at the time that the sun sets. I have a thing with sun setting, and the skies just give me a peaceful place to be. So I shared a couple pictures of that on Facebook, so I'm just sharing one right there. So my ladies, my girls, We have Sakajuea and also Shanae with me tonight. So let's do some introductions, shall we? Sakajuea, let them know who you are and what you do.
All right. Hi, it's Dr. Julia Fanning. I am so excited. It's Money Making Monday once again. So looking forward to these topics. I'm just enthused, and I am also the CEO and founder of Fanning Financial Group, LLC. I am making a way and making blueprints so everyone has a solid financial future. If you have questions about budget, savings, retirement, college savings for kids, how to protect yourself if you get sick, let me know. Let me go ahead and give you a free financial analysis, a consultation. It's confidential, and let's get you on the right foot, okay?
Yes. And then we have my girl, Shanae Robinson. Let them know who you are and what you do.
Hey guys, it's me, Shanae Robinson. I'm the professional credit diva. As you can see above me, diva means doing it very aggressively. So no matter what it is you want in life, you have to go after it because nobody is going to give it to you. And what I do is I assist individuals, couples, and business owners that are focused and they are ready to achieve their goals by reaching their by reaching their financial security number, their credit score. I'm helping them to raise that so that they're able to do the things that they have to do, the things that they need to do, but also the things that they want to do. And so, we've all been told that money talks, but credit carries a conversation. Credit can get you so many places that cash can't even get you in the door of. And I too offer a free consultation so that we can get you on the right track, especially financially coming in the new year. So yeah, reach out to me.
Yes. And you as you can see, we're missing one. We're missing our girl Janice Bowles, but she has some business to take care of. So she is taking care of business. But nonetheless, ladies, let's go ahead and jump into the show. I love Money Making Monday. You all are the experts, but it's so funny because my experiences that I go through, I'm becoming an expert hanging right on along with you all, an expert of experiences. But I love it because this is the most relaxed show. I get to sit back and let you all do the work. But let's go ahead and jump into the topic. So the first topic is establishing holiday spending plans. So we know that's so important, especially like given this year with everything that's going on. People are trying to figure out, do I spend? Do I not spend? And also, there has been some shortages in money in certain places. So how do we prepare for the holiday and what do we do? And even for planning afterwards. So Shanae, let's go right on to you and talk about your thoughts and your input.
Well, you definitely do not want to go into debt by trying to, get that PS5 or to, buy gifts for everyone. Everybody is going through the pandemic. So everybody understands that the situations, concerning like your finances have changed. Well, not everybody. Maybe your children, they don't understand. They not trying to hear it because my son is still asking for the PS5. And I'm like, child, if you don't leave me alone. But you definitely, do not want to go over budget. You definitely want to first, in fact, have a budget for Christmas. Like, what are you spending? Who's getting what? You want to stick to the list, as Santa Claus says, and you want to check off who's getting the gift, what you're going to do. If you can find it in on sale, then you definitely want to take advantage of it. With COVID happening, so many of the stores, didn't open, but what they did is because they don't want to miss out on the retail dollar. So what they did is they started having Black Friday sales like back in October, right after Halloween and everything, because they know that people are still going to purchase. They know that they couldn't all gather for that one particular day after, Thanksgiving. So they had to be strategic as well. So take a note from them. Be strategic with your planning, with your spending. You definitely don't want to max out any credit cards because no matter what, the credit industry is still monitoring your credit. They still marking stuff late. They still seeing if you maxing out your cards, and they still updating your credit score. And if need be, they're still lowering it. So you don't want to, cause any type of heartache come the new year when you look at that credit report, when you look at that credit card bill, because you balled out, for Christmas to try to make up for, things that may have been lacking due to, COVID and everything else. You still want to plan, you still want to budget, you still want to use your, your strategic thinking and everything. And maybe, some people just get a Merry Christmas and, we'll see. Or you can kind of get artsy and crafty and make some things. People like things that are given, that have like a certain meaning to them, as well. So my advice to you guys is, if you're going to ball out for Christmas, ball out at Dollar General.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that a time or two. Matter of fact, I did that the other day. I was sitting there like, give me this,
right.
give me this. Right, you feeling like a boss up in there. But
right.
Yeah. And Saka Joanne, I know you can definitely. I know we have the other topics where you're gonna go and leave, but I know you can definitely go into that. So my personal view on this, and the way that I'm looking at things, is the stock market. So now is a good time for stocks. So Disney, yeah, that's what my baby's getting. They're getting some Disney stock. Like, now is a really good time to do that. Yeah, I'll put something in the bag, because they're gonna be like, what's this? So I'll do something else to go along with it. But now is like a really good time for stocks. So that's what I'm doing this year.
Yeah, exactly. Because me and my sister had the same conversation like last week. We were talking about our nephew, my youngest nephew, who's like 16. And we were talking about the PS5. Like, literally, this thing is supposed to cost $500, where people like snatched them up and now selling them from as high as $2,000 a piece. Wow. Right? And it's crazy. So we were thinking, no, and trying to spend money on a PS5 that's probably going to get, maybe it'll last a year, maybe it won't. Put it in something tangible, like stocks or something to help the kid in the future. And these are the times when you need to be having conversation with your kids, because this is one of these rare opportunities in time that people are facing financial hardships. So you need to, this is the best life lessons for our kids to be seeing right now. Like how the kids went through it in 2008 when the housing market crashed. Going in 2008, 2009, once again, that was during the holiday time. And kids and people were losing homes. People were becoming homeless. So it's like educating our youth and understanding and preparing them of like, this is going to be a temporary, hardship, but let's make the best of it. And like Shanae was saying about the gifts, making something. I was thinking one thing of like white elephant. Just pick a person. You put the names in a hat. You pick a person and you only have to give a gift to one person. So everyone gets a gift, but you only get like 5 or 10 gifts a piece. It's like everyone is receiving something. But, if you're in a position where you kept yourself in a really great position, then maybe just give one gift for a person you pulled the name out of the hat. We've done that in our family before. And then look to see how you can help the community, right? So like Ladrine, you were saying, we're going to be donating, helping a family or a bike donation or both. But, I felt good because like my birthday was December 1st, right? Instead of giving me a gift, I went ahead and bought 8 kids' coats for a shelter, domestic violence shelter that I used to volunteer for, Doorways in Arlington, Virginia. And they needed it because they said kids, the older kids who are like from 10 to 14, they all often get overlooked because people want to, donate to younger kids, toddlers, and they needed coats. I mean, that's an essential thing we take for granted, having a coat to be worn. They didn't have those. So I felt so good being able to do something for somebody else. So maybe that's another thing. See if your family can get together and see how they can help in the community. My sister, she's been doing awesome. Like for the college kids, when they were going away to college, she was doing care packages, baskets. She was simply going to get the essentials, like a laundry basket and packing it with stuff they will need when they get to college. So it's like right now, and I know I stress this a whole lot every time I'm on here, let's tend to think about and see how we can help the community and help others. because like you said, Shanae, a lot of people are being affected. And then, and sometimes we trying to turn it up and try to ball out, like you said, and try to get like crazy Christmas. But maybe this is the year to do that. Let's see how we can help others, because some people are looking just to have a meal on the table.
Right.
Then I ain't worried about a PS5. They're worried about having a meal on the table to have just a decent Christmas dinner, having a decent Thanksgiving dinner. That's what they're looking at. They're trying to keep the lights on. They're trying to just survive. So let's see how we can help people in that manner. But if you do want, like I said, you want to do Christmas, pick one person to buy a gift for. Or, see how, make yourself feel good. Instead of buying gifts, put some in your savings account. Or like Ladrine was saying, buy a stock. Literally, Airbnb became an IPO. And it was crazy. I think the stock came out, starting price of like 140 something, 150, right? So all these companies now are like good. The IPOs are going. Pfizer came out with the vaccine. So, start looking and researching in the market and seeing what places are strategically a good place to start picking, because literally it is a sale when you come into talking about certain stocks.
And let me pause right there. So first, I want to give a shout out to my brothers, Major Bandy and also Andre Watts. They have a street ministry where every event, Thanksgiving, whatever it is, they give out something to the community. And Major, I'm not sure of exactly what you're doing for the Christmas holiday, but you're probably doing something for the kids or what have you. Please put your information in the feed or inbox it to me here on our show. We're just trying to do some small things to help out in various communities. So in addition to the bike, finding out the information from Mount England about the family, please send us the information so that we can help out. And that's a huge thing. People who are fortunate, like I was fortunate to keep my job and work and have my salary and also do my do it thing. I have been talking to people where that's not the case. And in fact, somebody that I know committed suicide based on financial. So I was having a conversation with my nephew, and I almost wanted to jack him up, but not really jack him up. But I wanted him to hear me to say, if you are having any financial struggles, now it's not the time to play I'm the man of the house and I'm gonna do. You reach out. Like, that's what we are for. Because there's so many sad things that are going on. So when Dr. Joelle was talking about helping out the community, like, that's a huge thing. The second thing I wanted to say is stocks, Pfizer. I work for FDA. I cannot invest in stock and I cannot say anything. I sign something all the time where I can't talk about what's going on. Mm-hmm. I was saying, like, somebody better be buying some stock in Pfizer.
Look, this girl over here.
When you research and find, you can tell who are the projectors of a given drug, of when it's about to come out. And with everything that was going on with the pandemic, you knew, like, if I didn't work for FDA, this would have been one I would have been saving my money just for a little slither of it, because you already know that it is going to be skyrocketed at the beginning. Now you monitor it to make sure you find out what's going on. And I can't say any more about that, but I couldn't believe it. I was like, somebody better be buying it, but I wasn't. I don't play with that. We know Martha Stewart got locked up by getting some insight, so I don't play. Nobody could ever get anything from me about the Food and Drug Administration. But y'all need to be.
Ladrine did not tell me anything. I just did my own research.
Listen, right. But yeah, that when you said that, I was like, oh my God. I was like, I know somebody better be paying attention to this, and somebody better be rocking on this. So yes. Good for you all. But anything else in terms of that field? But that was really good. Okay, Major has his information. This Saturday, they will be out at 1345 Savannah Street and giving away toys to the kids ministry. So yeah, I know you all have an app, Major. So inbox me your Cash app, and then we'll get together and do something with that as well. But yes, I love what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. And you don't only do it for this holiday, you do it on a routine basis. My hat's off to you. and continue doing what you're doing. Continue doing what you're doing. It's going to bless so many people, and people will see what you're doing, and God will bless you as well. So big shout out to you. So yeah, so any other thoughts, ladies, about the whole establishing holiday spending plans?
Yeah, and another thing too, I can throw in this. A lot of times, people who had planned trips, they had now taken that money and either put it in a savings, maybe picking up some stocks, or they're donating to charities and everything like that. So you can think about the money you would have spent on X, Y, and Z. Just redirect the money and do it for something else instead of trying to see of coming up with new resources of money. You know, because I 100%, like 1,000% agree with Shanae when she's talking about do not max out your credit card, because you, like I said, you don't want to make a temporary situation have like lasting and deep consequences of, degrading your credit score, because it's a big factor. Don't do it. But, just see, and reach out to family right now. Right now, that is so critical. Like, you keeping in touch with loved ones. Like you said, Ladrine, people going through some hard times, maybe see how you can help your own family. Your family is your community too, not just outside resources, but internally too. See how you can help your family, because I know we can't get together like we used to, big crowds, but let's see how else we can help our families too in ways they may need it.
Right. So yes, thank you. That was really good information. And again, I'm so glad that you all are who you are. As soon as I put something in the box, say, hey, can we get together and donate to this, and this? Y'all was like, yeah, just tell me what we need to do. So appreciate you all for that, because you don't only talk the talk, you walk the walk as well. So let's jump into the next topic. So estate planning tips.
Yeah.
So, Dr. I know you have a lot to say about that. So let me just say, my experience has like taught me a lot, and mainly so to prepare for me in terms of my kids. My issue was I could not have this conversation with my mom. For years, it was just like, I ain't talking to my mother about that. And my mother would always be like, we need to, and I was just like, no. And I couldn't do it. And so in the end, I had to figure some things out because all the pieces of the puzzle wasn't there. And I just wanted to like really stress to people and encourage people, have that conversation. I know it's a tough conversation that you don't want to have, but it'll save you some tears and some trying to figure out, because at the end of the day, I was like, I need this to be exactly how my mom would want it. All I had to do was ask her, and then it wouldn't have been all of the various things that I went through. Because then when you start going into it, you want the best of the best, and you start like upgrading in the prices and upgrading and doing this. And I know my mom is not really like that way, but I was like, oh, she's going out the best way that's possible to go. So it was a lot of decisions that I end up having to make. And I just encourage people to not put that additional stress on yourself when you can just ask and have the answers up front. And it's easy for me to say now, because even when my mom would like probe to have, I would be like, no, like, I'm not having that conversation. Luckily, she had some discussions with my sister, so I was able to obtain that information and to be able to do so. But it was huge. And I'll say this one, and I'll let you jump in, and then I can chime in otherwise. One big one was, so my great grandfather owned a funeral home in South Carolina.
Okay.
So it's tradition. If you live up here, our family goes to South Carolina, and everybody is buried in the same plot and go to the same services. I kid you not. I was like, I had made all the arrangements because I had to make them right then and there, like within an hour, because my mom passed in her house. And I was like, oh my God. So I made the arrangements. So I had to make the arrangements with the funeral services here, funeral here, and then also our connection in South Carolina. And I did all that, went home, I got in the shower. I was like, I don't want my mom to be buried in South Carolina. But then I was like, stop being selfish. This is the tradition. And, this is something that we do. I kid you not. When I got out the shower, my sister texted me while I was in the shower and said, oh, and mom don't want to be buried in South Carolina. I was like,
okay, good.
But the most complex piece of the whole arrangements was finding a burial plot, because our family normally goes to South Carolina. I don't have experience with cemeteries and all of that. But y'all know I'm a strategist, and y'all know I do my research. So the delay was on me because I needed it to be the right place, because now this will become our place. So yeah, so Joanne, I'll let you jump in, because I know you know all about the estate planning, the financial benefits of it, and how we in our community often miss out on things that others are very much keen to and have become millionaires and have left legacies and trust funds and so many other things. So I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, I mean, and you were always in my prayers. You're still in my prayers, and I understand it, because I had to go through not only as a professional thing but a personal thing. I had to go through the same thing when it came to my father. I was of active duty military. I was in Massachusetts. He was still in Georgia. I had to leave and go and make all the arrangements, but he had set up everything because he knew. He knew when the ending was coming. So he had set up everything and he put everything in my name. So literally it was like a, color by numbers, where he had set up everything because he was prior military. So he knew exactly what needed to happen. We had the family burial plot. He knew where he was going to be buried. He knew what kind of service. All of it was kind of picked out and plus we had talked about it. We were literally having conversations and talking about it. We had never talked like that, but I knew it was important for me to do that for him. And I've done the same thing with my mom. My mom is still around. My mom, poor thing, she has a whole binder, like a binder full of things, like all her insurance. We talked about it when I went home this last year, having that medical directive of what she would want to happen, in case she goes to the hospital and she's on life support, whether she wants to be resuscitated or nothing like that. These are the conversations you have to have with your loved ones, no matter if they're young, old, in the middle. You got to have something like a binder, seriously, put together. You need to make sure, if you need to, have a will in place of how you want your assets to be distributed amongst family members,
Right.
Because you never know what other assets may be out there, family land, other heirlooms like jewelry, houses. It could be anything. All of that needs to be laid out in a plan beforehand. You should not be like how, unfortunately, you had to do with some things, a guessing game. These conversations are needed. They're uncomfortable, but they are so vitally important. And once again, you need to make sure you do have some type of life insurance policy in place, because funeral arrangements and funeral costs are not cheap, and they are steadily going on the rise, because that is something everybody has to do, pay taxes and die. So you need to make sure you have some type of plan in place, so you're not doing a GoFundMe. GoFundMes are, unfortunately, some people have to do it, but it is not a plan. And if so many GoFundMes are out there, not everyone can contribute to everybody's GoFundMe, because it may not be a lot of money to be spread around. So do the proactive work, where not only are you taking care of your financial and funeral expenses, but you can leave something to your family so they can start probably in a better financial situation than you were in. This is generational wealth you can do through life insurance, and people just don't get it. The top 1% are doing it every day. And like I told you, Ladrine, the record-setting life insurance policy was done in 2019, before the pandemic happened. And it was for a $200 million face value, because with insurance, you can't create wealth, but you can make sure you keep wealth. You keep the wealth that you have. So you're making sure that your assets are all lined up. Like, I help clients who are friends. They're like, hey, I want to make sure that when I pass away, my mortgage is taken care of. No one has to worry about my mortgage, my credit card bills, my car payments. all of that is paid off. So you buy your plan to make sure all that stuff is covered. You know what I'm saying? In case you get sick before you pass away. Now sometimes with the traditional life insurance and like long term, it's like you have to be in the hospital to get the money. That's not happening all the time. Someone can have a heart attack and be out the hospital the next day. You know, the minimum requirement sometimes is you got to be in the hospital a minimum of 90 days to even touch the money. There are plans where you don't have to have that criteria. It's your plan. You're putting the money in and you're able to tap into it in case something happens. Heart attack, stroke, cancer, dementia, you know, in case you got to go into an actual assisted living facility. All of this stuff needs to be discussed because assisted living facility is not cheap. I looked at Virginia. I think the annual monthly amount was like $8,000 to $10,000. Who has that? Your hand. You know what I mean? It's like you need to think about these things. And people are like, "Oh, I got years and years before I retire and I die." You never know. You never know God's plan because it may be right around the corner. And what have you done to prepare for it? Have those conversations. Know what's going on. Like my mom, I know what she wants. We know where she wants to be buried. All this stuff. We have it in place because we had to have the talk because we've seen death so much in my family. Like literally, it was like my grandmother lost her kids before she passed away. So it was like death after death after death. And I was like, it's no way someone could, you know, literally pay out of pocket for this every time. I have clients now who signed up with me. They were financially good because they're military and had a good job, you know, prior military people, right? They had to come out of pocket to bury like an uncle, a grandmother, and a cousin, like within 3 to 4 months. Now they got insurance in place to take care of themselves in case that happens. But it's like you got to think about all this stuff because you don't know. And then you need to understand probate law. You know, I'm not an attorney and an expert, but you need to understand what happened with probate when a person doesn't have a will in place. Like I had to go through it with my father, but guess what? We're in a small town. Everybody knows everybody. So we were able to go through it quickly. You know, he just didn't have the will in place, but people knew I was his daughter and he had put things in my name. And it made it a little easier because look at Chadwick Boseman. He's a prime example, poor thing. He didn't have a will in place. So his wife, his fiance, who became his wife before he's passed, had to go through probate in order to be an executor over his estate, in order to then get to the money to then do what she needed to do with his assets. So once again, make sure you have things in place where your beneficiaries and your relatives who are behind don't have to go through that whole probate process. Understand that. And it's different for each state. So you need to understand the rules of it in your state that you reside. So, you know, hopefully I didn't go too much in, but these are the things you gotta understand, you know. Then what if they were in that stage where they're receiving Social Security benefits? You never know with the new rules whether or not, you know, that can be paid out, or if they were a veteran receiving military benefits. Get the knowledge of what you need to know. So when they do pass, if you were like counting on that money and it no longer comes in, what are you going to do? So things of that nature, you know, and so retirement as well too. Oh, go ahead, Sinead.
I'm sorry. I have a question for Sacagawea, something that I want her to touch base on. Beneficiaries. Mm-hmm. And what's your advice on folks making children under the age of 18 or 21 their beneficiaries?
Okay, so my thing is some clients have done it a real smart way, like they'll put it in a trust. So they'll make sure that if the beneficiary is under 18 and if something happens to them before they turn 18, like the person passes away, they put it in a trust. So that person who they've identified as a guardian is over that trust and they're able to give the money out to the child, right? But what you need to do also, good question about beneficiaries, if you do have a life insurance policy, make sure you're checking your beneficiary information twice a year. Because you never know what may happen. You may be married, go through a divorce or a separation. You need to make sure you update that. When I was in the military and I worked financial management, literally people would have been married and then they get divorced. And guess what? They never updated their beneficiary information. So guess what? that ex-spouse was entitled to the money. And then sometimes too, the military, people don't know about if you're married at least 10 years or more, and even you're divorced and do something, if you don't put something in writing, guess what? It goes to the spouse who you've been married to that 10 plus years, even though it may be an ex. So it's like getting and understanding the rules when it comes to beneficiaries, because you should know at your job, like you have a retirement account, right? You have beneficiaries on it. Update that. Make sure that's the correct people are on that one, especially like Ladrine in your situation. If you had a parent as a beneficiary and they pass away, update your beneficiary information. You know, if you have a child, and then update your beneficiary information. But all kind of life changes, you need to then be looking into your beneficiary information.
Absolutely. And that's really, really good. And even the part that you talked about, and it ties into Shanae's question about an underage person. So you need to make sure that you also have someone of age, because if you put it in the trust or all of these things,
that you trust,
it cannot be touched. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So understanding the definitions and all of the various things that you need to do, because if someone needs to have access to money immediately, they have to be of age. So that's definitely like one thing. And Dr. Joy, you hit on it in terms of making sure that you update your beneficiaries, because I have to do mine like for my mom, because I had her as a percentage of it. So that piece of it was like, oh my goodness, you got to go through those things. But it's an important thing that you need to understand. And when someone falls ill or no longer capable of making a decision or something, you need to think about those things as well. And
that's supposed to get a medical directive. Things like that can be put into a medical directive when they are no longer of their mental faculties. These are the steps that I want in place in case that happens.
Right. And early on, Allison has said, like, it is important to have that conversation. You're so right. Like my mom tried to have it with me probably maybe 3 years ago, and kept, trying to have it like, this is a conversation we need to have, girl. And I was just like, I could not do it. But like for me, so one, like I've already purchased my plot. So that's a done deal, because I told my daughters I needed to make sure that it was peaceful and I needed to be right beside my mommy. And then the other things, so I had to actually, so for the most part, I was strong throughout. I was strong. God was strong. But putting that obituary together and then seeing the output.
Yeah, that is hard, honey. I had to do it too. Yeah.
I was like, what is this? So all the pieces, I'm like, hey, you need to do this. You need to do this. Gathering up all the pictures, going in the picture box and collecting everything, getting it from her schoolmates and writing the stories, doing the dedication. So
can I say one thing about the funeral expenses? One thing that we may overlook is when you're putting together for the funeral expenses, you need to get in contact with the mortuary or funeral home you're going to be working with, because sometimes they will make sure that you can do all the arrangements and they take payment after you receive the insurance claim. So make sure you're having that conversation with the funeral home or mortuary or whoever you're going to be using to have that set up beforehand, because I was able to do that with my dad. We were able to go ahead and put all the funeral expenses together, and then we actually paid for it once the insurance claim came in, because we were able to show proof of here's the insurance policy and it's going to be paid out. So
yeah, I did that first thing. That was the first thing I did. My mom told me where her insurance papers were. That's one thing that she did tell me, because I grabbed those. And so with her telling me that, I was able to call, because I was the beneficiary, the executive. I was able to call and get that information. So for me, because I was doing all these things, and I was like, the funeral people, they're almost asking me, how much do we have, so that they can plan the bill against that. So I was like, no. So I called and I just paid $10 to get the check FedEx. So they did like a review and everything. So I got the check very quickly. But all the time, that's not, it depends on the insurance company that you have. It depends on the amount of it and so many other things.
And the type of policy you have. So go ahead, Shanae.
And well, one thing, my grandmother, my baby, I was the oldest grandchild, and her children were gone, and so we had that conversation. I knew where her binder was and everything like 10 years ago. I was like, just tell me so that I know under which side of the mattress am I going to find everything. But one thing, my grandmother was a planner. One thing I didn't know, but it made me look into it. We have a family funeral mortuary that we go through here in Baltimore. And so what I did is I was able to find back in 1996, my grandmother paid for her own funeral. She prepaid for her funeral and everything else. And she prepaid. I knew she prepaid for the burial plot and everything, because when my mom passed away, that's when she bought hers and my uncle. So she bought 3 of them. But the funeral, prepaying for that and everything, was though with the depreciation and, inflation and everything, we only had to come out of pocket with, under $2,000 to, make up from the cost and everything. But that was a great stress reliever, off of me and everything from taking care of my grandmother for 4 years. So, that's also an option as well, because even though we don't like to discuss it, it is coming. That's the only thing that we know that's for sure is death and taxes. So if you can do anything to alleviate, the loved ones behind you, or to make it just a tad bit easier, then, I definitely suggest that, we take that step, no matter how painful, it might be, but we take that step into, getting that done.
Correct. That's also that's the headstone. Sometimes the headstone is separate. So that's another thing. It's like all these little details add up. Like, and you want to make sure that you have all of that annotated of like what you want. Some people already have
break the ground.
They're like, I want this on my headstone. Okay, cool. I make sure that gets on there. So, you never know. And then when they want to be buried or cremated, if they get buried, maybe it's a certain suit or dress or whatever they want to have on. Things like that are the tender little details that they want to make sure when they're transitioning, all of that is in place. So
Yep. So it was definitely a very tedious job, but I had taken off for work. So I had been off for work, and everybody was like, can I help? Like, please let me know if you can help. But it was so personal for me that nobody honestly could help me from the program. And I designed the obituary because I needed it to be just right. I went through the printing company, but I was like, here, let me show you.
Correct.
This
Correct.
is what
people move over. Did you say move?
Oh, well, let me type.
A little bit. Yeah, but the last thing I'll say before we move off of this topic is Shanae hit upon the inflation and understanding of the time. So even when you have everything covered and you think you're leaving the extra piece of it, if you bought it 10 years ago, it's not going to quite be the same. And for us, like my mom was going to be buried in South Carolina, a little teeny town in South Carolina, but it ended up being the DMV. So just imagine how much more that ended up costing. And even the differences between here, like I could have had my mom buried in Waldorf, and it would have been 1/4 of what we paid.
Yeah.
1/4. But I was like, I need my mom to be right around the corner so I can go visit her every day. So all of those things. And I paid a little bit more because of the site. Yeah. So some of it was me.
Yeah.
Right.
But understanding like from where they are at that stance. So I know it's people, because I used to be like, I'm not buying any burial plot or whatever, but I bought mine now because you think about the cost that it used to be.
Correct.
It's
compared to what it is now.
And eventually all of us is gonna go and transition, right?
Correct.
So I'm getting out of that mind of I don't want to talk about, but death and all that was a serious thing for me that I wouldn't talk about, but I wish I would have, because it would have been a little bit easier.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do quickly is not really a commercial, but I put together some pictures of my mom. So I did like a tribute. We didn't have a commercial last week, but we're gonna have one this week. So it's just a quick video of all the pictures and memories of my mom. So we're gonna go to a quick commercial tribute, and then we're gonna come right back. So great comments and information in the feed. So we're gonna go to commercial. Be right back.
That's cool. I should have came get some of them red velvet cupcakes. Red velvet, my favorite.
You sure could have. Woo! So, I mean, all of the feedback and everything that I have received from everyone has just been fantastic. So, thank you all for the gifts and for the calls, for the flowers, for the everything. Like, I did not know like all of the stuff that was going to come about and how it works out. Even like for the flowers. So Latasha Briscoe, she is an event planner, but she's a florist also. So she immediately reached out and was like, "Hey, I want to donate a portion of the flowers." And I was like, "You're a florist. Can I hire you?" So in addition, she donated, and the place was small. It wasn't even like that much room. So we had sponsorship. So Allison Daniels is on the line now. Allison Daniels, Tanya Bobby, and also Minister Sonia. And then the class of 1970, they made donations to the flowers. And then, of course, Mount Ena, my church, made donation. I mean, everybody was just so openly bringing food, and I have to finish posting the other gifts and everything that came about. But huge shout out to everybody who's on the line with us and commenting and adding in. So we have Alice Walker, Alethea Fields, Marcella Stretch, Major Bandy, Andre Wasp, Veronica, Allison. Hey, Allison, and thank you again. Hey. Tiffany, Veronica. And also we wanted to Davita Henderson.
Oh, my sister Felicia, thank you, sis.
Yes. I went out and came back in, so I can't see all 18 people that's on there. I can't see them when that happens. But each and everyone in the you, and you. Thank you. So we wanted to make a read Davita Henderson's comment. She writes, "My parents died 5 months apart, so I went through it twice, back to back. The plots were paid for, but everything else, 1,000 decisions. I thought my head would pop off. No time to mourn." And you hear it. You never know how it's going to go or how it's going to be. So really take the time to plan. That's one thing that I wish I would have done. But like for myself, oh, they're getting the binder. They're getting the binder because I don't want my kids and my family members to even have to go through that. I want them to be able to focus. So sorry about your loss. Sorry about all of the things that you had to go through. I understand with you, like firsthand, you really don't even get time to mourn because you're so focused on making sure everything is okay. And even though you have the help and people are offering you, help
you just
me.
want to make sure it's done right. It's like you're people don't understand that till they go through it. Like I really did with my dad. I was like, I accepted help, but it was like I want to make sure that it's done right and it's, you know, respectful, and that, you know, you can see that the love was put into it and how much that person meant to you. Yeah. So this is the final, like, kind of like bid of saying, you know, you are loved, you are cherished, and we want you to feel like, you know, this homegoing celebration is what you deserve. So totally, definitely.
And then the limitations to COVID-19, like what? Oh my God. It was like they were coming in because only 25 people could be in the facility at a time. So the people who were coming to the funeral were at the wake. So they were counted for. So it would be like, move on. At one point, I kid you not, I was talking to my supervisor and a colleague, and they were like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people are outside waiting. I left out for a minute to finish up the conversation and come back in. So it's so many things that went along with it. But I was very pleased with the funeral services. I was very pleased with the cemetery. Everyone who I had engaged with, they, like, you know, I had a whole bunch of questions and I had all of that going on, and I had so many different specifications, but all of them at a cost. But all of them were honored, and my mom's services, like, warm my heart, were so beautiful. It was like we were like sending our queen home to the kingdom. So
That's awesome.
So yes, thank everyone for your comments, and thank you for tuning in. Please share. Please follow us on all social media, Instagram, Facebook, and also on our YouTube page. The name is the same everywhere. Let's Do It Talk Show. So so let's jump into this next topic. Economical 2021 projections. Saka Jewett already beat me to it in talking about Pfizer. I wasn't going to talk about Pfizer, but I was going to say be mindful of the things that are going on. So FDA, anybody, Health and Human Services, if you're listening, I did not bring it up. I did not say that. I know my responsibilities and what I can and cannot say. I sign my ethical papers every month and I review them every month. So Saka Jewett, 2021 projections, and Shanae, 2021, because they're going to be looking at credit differently. They're going to be looking at everything differently, and we're not on the up of coming out the hole. We're still going into the hole. So many people have lost jobs, right? So now we're still trying to steady them and level them off to make sure that they're surviving and able to go. So it's going to be a minute before we start to see things shift like totally and move over. And because we're in this pandemic with everything that is heightening right now, those type of jobs that require you to be around people in facilities, we're looking at like closing them more than they were before. I still have never understood, Sabar, how in the world is the casino still like the main thing popping off? And I don't understand that. I was mad when they opened it back up. But yes, Saka Joanne, projections, Shanae, projections.
The one thing people need to be looking at is news. Like literally, I Google through my little news feeds and everything on my phone, you know. And one thing, big thing, excuse me, is that if no one noticed, Tesla basically shut down the production of their Model S and Model X SUVs for 18 days during Christmas. Basically, they're paying their production workers a week's wage, but they're going to have 5 unpaid days. No one knows why or what's happening, but this is what's going on in the news. Well, once again, think about what's going on in the news. Things that are happening, though, with Tesla is that they're having major issues with recalls in China. They're having issues of safety issues with the NHTSA, the National Highway Transportation Safety Association. Something's going on with that, and also warranties. So it's just, it may be, the older models are not being as wanted as like the newer models that they have out there. But it's like all these things you need to be aware of. Also, like I said, like Airbnb became an IPO just this last week,
Wow.
But maybe you want to jump on the bandwagon right now, or you want to wait until it simmers down because they open up at like 146, 150 per share. That may drop, in the next 30 days. You never know. So you can jump in now or you can wait. Either way, just, kind of look for your personal own thing. Because I do from like when it comes to stocks and stuff, I do it from a personal standpoint. I don't do it for business, but I love to tell people what I see in the news and stuff like that. And it's like looking at these things, like you're saying, Ladrine, you make up a great point. Restrictions are coming into place, like Virginia. I think we're having a lockdown again because of record number of cases of COVID and hospitalizations. So now we're going to be under a curfew from like 10, I think it's like midnight to 5 a.m. You got to be in your house, and they want you to stay home as much as possible as you can because of everything that's popping off right now with COVID. And so, like you said, restaurants now, I don't know if they're able to do like in-restaurant services now. It may scale back again, So once again, it's like they're not going to need as many workers when it comes to the hospitality and the restaurant industry. So it's like looking at other ways of how you can earn money in the world because those things are happening. So, if you're not savvy with computers and stuff, you maybe want to be taking some courses and understanding what's going on in the internet and how, e-commerce is blowing up right now. So you need to be looking at those things because everybody be all mad at Jeff Bezos. But right now, a genius because he established Amazon. The people who created Shopify and stuff like that, because the way of the thing is everyone's having things delivered. DoorDash, Uber Eats, and things of that nature. It's like those things are going to become more and more prominent, because I remember literally sometimes I'd be at home and I'd be like, man, I would love to just order in and not have to go out. But every restaurant you call be like, oh, we don't deliver because you're not in our area or blah, blah. Now you can call anybody and their grandma, where you live at. Yeah, we will deliver because they're trying to make the money. Okay, let me just. So, and it's things of like what I've been doing a lot lately is buying my groceries through an online thing. Like Wegmans is my jam. I love Wegmans, right? And when Wegmans you out there, I love y'all. So I can give you a shout out and everything because I love Wegmans. And what I do is I order my food online and then I go do curbside pickup, and it's contactless. They shop, and I love them because they use Instacart. So literally I get a little message from a person who says who's going to be my shopper for the day. And I'll tell them, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And they're literally texting me as they're shopping like, okay, you said you wanted this, but this is not available. Would you like to replace it with this, or would you like a refund? So those are the things you got to now. It may not be as much as face-to-face conversations we're used to doing and going into restaurant and stores and grocery stores. Try to get yourself into the mode of doing online as you can, because that's going to be more and more prevalent because we need to get these numbers down, yo. We need to understand what's going on with this disease and do what we need to do and stop being crazy like a mask. I don't want to wear a mask. How about the people who work in hospitals? Do you think they want to be in masks like 12 hours a day? But they have to, and they have to do it more because the cases and hospitalizations are steadily increasing. So we need to start doing what we need to do and think about, mindset. You need to start thinking more savings because, you may be in some tougher situations in 2021 financially than you were in 2020.
Yeah.
So just have a mindset, a mentality of just in case something happened, I have this emergency fund or something set up for myself that I can tap into.
Right. Yeah. Janae, from you?
Right. Well, what I tell my clients is it's not if an emergency is going to happen, it's when an emergency is going to happen. And that's the mindset we need to get into. And then also piggyback off of what you were saying, Sakajoy. If you think about it, Jeff Bezos, like this yesterday, we saw the postal service, like they were driving and making deliveries. And the gentleman that I was with, he was like, what are they doing? It's like 6, 7 o'clock at night. They still, I said, and it's Sunday. I said, the post office delivers for Amazon on Sundays. And he was like, really? He said, oh my goodness. I said, yes, he is the man. He has a federal agency working for him. Okay. Secondly, everything that you said, Sacagawea, think about it. The food delivery, the everything that we have, the food delivery that's coming, where you talk to the people and everything, curb, contactless and everything else. The cell phones, the flat screen televisions that we have, the streamings. Think about it. Where did this happen? It's just coming to fruition. Who were the first quote unquote people to have all of this way before we did?
Other countries?
The Jacksons.
Mm-hmm.
So let me tell you.
Yeah. Educate us this.
This was back in, long before any of us were actually born. The Jacksons were doing this a long, long time ago. And if you think about it, everything that Hanna-Barbera and those, created, we're living it now. And that was back in the 50s and 60s. So, it was already coming.
Correct.
It's just, coming to fruition just now. It's different reasons why everything is happening. But like you said before, only certain areas they did delivery. But now every place is doing delivery. And as far as like the economic, structure of 2021, you have to get creative. You have to think outside the box. A young lady posted on her Instagram page, she needed a manicure and a pedicure. And she, called a couple places and, they were shut down, locked down. They weren't taking anybody. She called the last nail salon and they came and they did a manicure and a pedicure in her house. And and she asked them, she said, can I film you to let people know this is serious? And she said, this woman, she did not do mobile pedicure or nail services until she had to.
Correct.
You have to get creative in order to survive. So it's going to be a lot of, business.
Freeze a little bit.
Jeanette is freezing.
Have to outside box.
Okay.
I froze. Yeah. You have I'm regular.
No, you're breaking up. So good transition point. We see you rocking and moving, but we don't hear you. But great points in terms of what you all both said. And my closing statement would just be people who took advantage of their business ideas and their dreams and actually started business, kudos to them. And not everybody business, so no harm, no nothing against anybody who didn't. But it was so much time that was available that when people talked about them not having time, and there were resources available for you to start businesses, but just think differently about ways that you save money during the pandemic. Think about that and continue it on. Reduce back. Like I only got my nails done for my mom's services. Prior to that, that wasn't done. Limited in terms of my hair because where am I going? I'm doing Zoom online. Everybody else know what's going on, and I got my eyebrows arched one time since March. It means just those type of things. So definitely. So this has been a great show. So I'll let you ladies do your 60-second close out. Let everyone know where to reach you and your information. Sacagawea, information, how can they reach you?
Yes. So for me on Instagram and Facebook, it's Sacagawea Fanning. You can reach me that way. I'll put my name and information in the comments. Fanning Financial Group LLC is also my business page on Facebook. I love helping people. I love getting people educated on what they need, to survive these hard economic times. So please feel free to reach out to me. And I'll also put my cell phone number in there. It's 706-717 9590. Feel free to text me. And just, if you text me, please just tell me who you are. Because a lot of times people text me thinking I already know them, but your number just coming up as a number. But please let me know who you are. And so I can, we can go ahead and establish that bond and everything like that. But yeah, right. I appreciate it.
Right. Thank you. Shanae, check one. How's your mic?
I think I'm still frozen.
I can
hear you though. I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm gonna put everything in the comments, but I am across all social media pages as Professional Credit Diva. I also do a 30-minute complimentary consultation. Just text your first name and the words complimentary consultation to 443-973-7555. I do an in-depth look at your credit report from all 3 credit reporting agencies to let you know what your available options are, and we can develop a game plan to get you to excellent credit and above.
Awesome, ladies. So one of the things, so I'm Ladrine Howard Peterson on Facebook, and I go by my business name, Do It Delivers, on Instagram. For the show, again, everything is Let's Do It Talk Show. One of the things that I wanted to mention is me and Latasha Briscoe we have an author's call for a book project. So we are doing a book project, and this time it's specifically addressing those who have lost a mother. We are doing a book project, and there's an author's call on Saturday. We have a flyer that we'll post. There you go. And we are looking for individuals. We're only picking 10 other people. With this project, it's only going to be 12. But not only is it a book project, it's an all year around grief counseling, helping others type of thing. Because I'm at the very beginning of this, and although God has really kept me, I know that I have, some ways to go and some things to go through. What other way to do it than to create a group and create a book project to go along with it? So definitely, if you're interested, follow the information that is on the feed. Inbox me or Latasha Briscoe for more information about that. Next week is the business Monday, and we're going to be talking about making other people your business. So what that pretty much means is on all different avenues, whether it be a nonprofit, whether it be a for-profit business, or even if you're doing things like what my brother Major is doing with his street ministry. We have to get back into the business of really caring for other people. Yes, you can have a business and make money, but make sure that what you're doing is offering the person that's in need a packet that's worth whatever that they're paying for, and make sure that your services are really results driven. That's my thing. You can sell, you can do all of this, but if it's really not going to help people as a product or either as a service, then you really shouldn't be doing it. A lot of people are doing stuff just for the popularity and those type of things, and that like gets to my soul. So we will be talking about that. But again, thank you all for joining. Ladies, love it when we have Money Making Monday. Gives me so many tips and gives me the opportunities to sit back and ask all of my questions. Thank you all to the audiences for tuning in, chiming, putting your information in, and the ones that don't come up or the ones that I don't see, I go back and answer them. But this was a wonderful show. Great information. Everybody, you all ladies, audience, I'll see you all next week.
Bye.